Hi, I'm Ray. Well, we've just had 3 or 4 days of absolute scorching temperature. The weather's been up to the 30s on the south coast. So I've come down to the allotment to give it a water 6 o'clock in the morning. So I bought some tomato plants, just the last of the ones at home. So I'm just going to find some space and tidy up the allotment. So I should give you an update of the allotment as we are today. So I bought some of these hose adapters and I'm going to set up my hose pipe from the main source of water down into my allotment so we can have some water. So I've got various parts, and these are from Lidl, Parkside range. So I'm going to set up a little irrigation system so my garden gets watered. But I've just looked at my roses. We'll have a look at these. The roses, never done that. It's never come up with so many roses before. And even the one on this side. So let's get this hose pipe and get some water on the go. So this is the first look in the polytunnel in 3 weeks. Now we can see the onions are bolted, the board beans are all finished, they're all done. The poppies have all gone to seed and they're making their seed heads now. Look at this one, so pretty, all covered in cobwebs, makes it quite creepy. So cucumbers, they're not doing great, so I need to check this watering system whether it's working or not. So I had my water butt down here. Look at these tomatoes, they're doing good. These are going a bit crazy. All my tomatoes need a bit of attention. So we've still got water in the water butts. So I am wondering whether my system is working. So I need to test this. But look at these tomato plants. Lots of tomatoes. Look at these. These are really special. Look at the shape of these tomatoes. Absolutely wonderful. Look at that. That's absolutely lovely. So one of my jobs, while it's really early, is to probably tackle the tomatoes, because it's going to get hot in here later. If it's 32 degrees outside, what's it like in the polytunnel? We've got a nice red one. Yay! We better try that. So all those effort to get all my tomato plants sorted out for one tomato. Mm. Six o'clock in the morning, fresh tomatoes. Well, that is so nice, so fruity, so juicy. That is really, really good. Really like that. Can't wait to see all the rest of them. So look at how many tomato plants are just on this trellis. So many. So I've come to check out the pumpkin in a pot. Look at the size of that. That's done really well. That's done so good. We need to train it back. Maybe I'll just turn the pot round. We need to turn it back so it goes onto the matting. That is really good. So we have two other pumpkins on the trellis and they're not doing as good, which makes me wonder why that is, because they're in the ground and the one in the pot is in the pot. Any ideas? The stinging nettle tea absolutely stinks, but it's alright. you can tell. And this is the one I did for our showing. Absolutely stinks. Lettuce in the bag. I need to get cracking. Need to get cracking. So we have a look at our grape. It's sent out all these long runners now, and it's going all the way down, but it's got really heavy here now, and this needs to be tied up. The string I've got on the top of the allotment, on the top of the polytunnel, is fraying, so I'm going to have to put some more string along here. But if we look in at our plant, we've got grapes. How wonderful is that? There's some more there. So this has got really, really heavy, and it's partially falling down now. This is the main stem, and it comes all the way down, and it actually goes into the ground, but it goes out of the other side of the polytunnel, so when it rains the water does get the roots. So it's got a bit monstrous. Need to fix my link, but it's quite refreshing. It's going to be a hot day. So these cornflowers have been pretty pretty. And the bees are coming in and enjoying them. It's a good time to get away all these weeds. These are called fat hen. They're nice and easy just to pull out. And I've got quite a few of them. So I better make a start on this weeding. So I brought down my Reolink camera, and I'm going to place this on the allotment. I'm not quite sure where yet. Trying to gauge a space where I can put it and I can see the whole allotment. If I put it on my shed and I can't see the plot, if I put it in the polytunnel then I can't see the allotment. Trying to decide. So having something like a push-pull hoe is great, just to go through, just knock off the top of those weeds. Just makes such a big difference. Short amount of time. Just to knock out the top of those weeds. Cuts the stems. already, just a few minutes. So this is the outdoor tomatoes. They're nothing like the ones inside, but then they've probably not been watered for a few days. So, and sunflowers. I've actually got 2 sunflowers to start to make an appearance. Which is a bonus after they've all been eaten from my previous attempts. So if you're regular to my channel, you'd see that I planted some broad beans in the polytunnel, and they've all gone and done. They were ready by Easter, and we planted some outside, and now they're just ready to harvest. So let's have a look at the broad beans. So they're not as tall as the ones in the polytunnel, but they have been producing some beans, but we can see that something that's probably munched into those ones. We do have some more in here, so we can take some of these off for harvest, but it does look like something's nibbling on the beans. Are we going to harvest? So it's 7 o'clock now in the morning, and I've just been setting up things. Not even had my coffee yet, so it's always great just to sit down and chill. And the water's still watering the tunnel, just flooding the tunnel because it's so hot, just getting some moisture into the ground. So I'm just flooding it, letting it do its own thing. Whew, already hot, 7 o'clock this morning. So when you have your allotment, it's just great to just have a look and just chill and just have a look round. And I've just looked at my pear tree, and I've got pears. I've got at least 1, 2, 3 there, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's loads, about 20 pears on this tree. This tree has never really done much. I've had 1 pear in 1 year, and I went to eat it and it was rock hard. So look, more. So that's really cool. And the roses are just going to come out soon. Loads of heads on that. Look at that load of rosebuds. They're going to come out lovely soon. Loads of them. Loads of roses. We've had some, but we missed those, but there's lots more to come. How lovely. It's such a hot day today, so hot out there. So I'm in my shed, and this is a real cool place on the allotment. It's really cool. I had some plants in here, and of course over 2 weeks these never got watered, and it's such a shame. This was another big pumpkin plant that I was going to stick out. I stuck 1 in the pot, I stuck 2 in the ground, and this was the 4th one. But some you win, some you lose. And I just knew that this not being watered for 2 to 3 weeks, I knew I was going to get some casualties. But one thing that did survive is tomato cuttings. These are the ones I just cut off, and they've survived. So I'm going to put these into the allotment beds to give it a bit of a chance. But these were just the side shoots I stuck into a bit of compost And these have not had water for 2 weeks. Probably sat in some, soaked them up, and that was it. My onions have gone a bit crazy. Not sure whether they're going to survive, but I could just pop them in the ground and have a look. But there's a few other casualties. But what do we expect? No water, no plants. Well, it's nice and cool here, but I can see the grass needs a cut. So I don't know what it is, that grass grows really well and weeds, but plants don't. What sense is that? So I've got the Reolink camera in the polytunnel now, so we can have a view at the polytunnel and see whether anybody comes in. We've got the solar panel, and then we've got our camera. And that should view straight up to the polytunnel entrance. So it's 10 o'clock in the morning and it's clouded over a bit. So I don't think we're going to get the big temperatures that we're expecting. They are expecting some thunderstorms Sunday, so I'm just going to get all these bits done. So let me show you what I've done so far. So I've cleaned this bed totally up, planted some tomatoes. We continue planting the rest of the tomatoes in this bed, but we did find 2 cucumbers growing in the weeds, and we found some beetroots, and I found these, but I'm not sure what this is. There's quite a bit of it, I'm not sure. And I've also planted some swede, so I found some swede, so I've stopped digging this up until I investigate what's further in there. I don't think there's a great deal in there, but we made a bit of progress. So I started tidying this bed, and I noticed we had some red lettuce, but we also planted white lettuce in between. But we've got red, there's no white. So I'm going to come back and de-weed all this by hand and find out what we got. But we got some. So I had a change of mind, and this arch was floating about the plot, so I decided to grow the tomatoes up the arch and then some in the middle. Sure, we're going to get some rain. So the runner beans are really struggling down here. I was hoping they'd be well away by now. They do need a bit of a persuasion to go up against the wire, but then I also think that this was fairly new manure, so I'm not sure whether that's gone down well, whether they don't like it, but it's been eaten. So I wanted to do more peas, and peas just are not growing. They're just not growing. Don't know why. Just don't seem to want to grow. And I've got runners over here, but that's taken over. More weeded needing. These are cool. Potatoes in containers. They're doing well, but it looks really, really wet. I think I might just soak that with the hose pipe, but they're doing okay. Let's have a look in the pond. Always like to come and have a look. Rather overgrown. Not much going on in there. Does need a bit of a weed. The old flowers have all died back again. There's a few flowers just in here, but that does need a bit of a tidy. So I'm going to test, see whether my solar panel is still working. Yep, still dripping. That's really good. So we've had a good bit of a tidy, good bit of a weed. Now the rain is starting coming down, so I've just moved everything into the polytunnel. It's nice to get a bit cooler, but yeah, it's cooling down a bit now. So nice here in the polytunnel, the rain on the polytunnel. It's nice. So thanks for watching. New to my channel, please subscribe, ring that bell, get notifications when I post some more. And we'll carry on looking at what my allotment's like. Cheers.